Alright, so let's try the other two and see if I can make sense of them before I start spinning all of my slides. So here I am. And what's the point? Could have stayed home. That bad, huh? Treating me? What for? Nothing left of my life anyway. She's died from the plague. My wife has. 20 years together with my... with my Setsig. Smooth sailing it was. Been through everything with her. Poverty, famine. But this accursed blight? Didn't get through this. Didn't get through this. How do I live now? I feel like almost every single line of that I read wrong as far as like the proper cadence that I would have voice acted it. It's the struggle with learning what the lines are in real time. Setsig? Your wife was one of the steppe folk. She was my flower, that's what she was. We're all mixed up here. Who can tell now? It's standing over the steppe, the town is. So we must all be steppe folk for you outsiders. But Setsig's not of the kin, if that's what you mean. I see. Thank you. I haven't fully worked out the local customs yet. Must be going right after her. Cannot, excuse me for saying, leave the loo these days. Can't keep the food down at all. Been drinking broths, concoctions too. No good. We have vomiting. Should be a stomach thingy. Nausea and vomiting. My first reflex on can't leave the loo was diarrhea, but sounds like you can't keep it down, so it doesn't make it that far through. Going right after your wife? What do you mean? What can I say? Been tough for me. Old gray like. It's like I've grown old overnight after Setsig's passing. Home's not like home now. Empty. Lonely. Broke up. Some of the dishes too. Everything's slipping through my fingers. Huffing like an old engine. I am. Gasping for air. Like literally gasping for air? Difficulty breathing? I wonder? First of all, please undress and stand behind the screen. I'll examine you. Normal heartbeat. Nothing on the chest. Nothing on the back. Nope. Severe peeling. Chronic or just appeared now? What's up with your arms, man? Peeling arms. Eczema? I think it's the one with... Yeah, I think that's the specific one that describes that kind of vibe. Not a lot to look at on these patients today. Don't leave me hanging, doctor. Am I meeting Setsig soon? Don't be too eager to pass on to the other side just yet. There are still things to clarify. Go on then. Clarify them if you need. Makes no difference to me either way. Nothing matters anymore. Do you have trouble breathing? A lot of trouble. It's like I've aged half a century after Setsig's death. I take 3 steps, then I have to sit for a minute. She's calling me to her, my dear one. I guess it's time. Nausea and vomiting, difficulty breathing, nausea and vomiting, eczema. Oh, diarrhea is part of the clinical picture. The game actually specifically points it out. I said I couldn't keep food down, so I didn't think it was making it to diarrhea point. If I remove eczema, does the other things The difficulty breathing, diarrhea, and nausea don't add up to one thing together either. You had eczema, and still none of them stack up. They're all individual. Fuck. This isn't locked in, right? No. It's a hypothetical lock-in. He's not like hallucinating or anything, right? He points out nausea and vomiting and difficulty breathing. Does loss of appetite count? No, he's still trying to eat. He's taking broth and stuff like that. It just, he can't keep anything down. I feel insane diagnosing some of these people, or I'm just like, can we ask some more fucking questions, please? Like, the game just dumps you out. You're like, yeah, so we gave you basically nothing. And... alright, bye. And I'm like, what? Like, this is not a lot of ability to narrow things down. It makes sense that it gets harder the further in you get, but I'm just like, damn, that's all we get? Yeah, just like take a look at them and then question them. It says first record discovered symptoms in the casebook, then discovered the patient. Yeah. Anything more? No, there's no other symptoms. I'm not seeing symptoms on his face. Such a bewildered look. A grown man, yet acts like a child forgotten at the station. Okay. Judgmental, but not helpful. Well, that's not helpful. Huh. I'm gonna check out the last one, just see if I can identify any of these three people. Katar nada. I must Katar nada. Let the dress rip. Let Mu Shuhan come out. You don't look much like an Arab bride. I'll become Kieri Basagan if Bodo wills it. If I drive Mu Shuhan out. No, I can't pronounce that. But I think I've heard it somewhere. Bad blood? What's wrong with your blood? I came to the marshes. I saw slaughter. And the boss was sad. He was exhausted. They shouldn't have cut him down. All miserable and covered in flies. Spoiled sacrifice. Since I saw it, I share blame. Got Mu Shuhan. You saw a bull slaughtered? What does it have to do with your blood? You think you've gotten some disease from the bull? I saw a boss killed the wrong way. Since I saw, that means I helped. Now Mushuhan runs within me. I need Qatar. Then I become Kiri Basigan. Then I drive Mushuhan with dancing. You want to heal yourself by becoming an herb bride. Are you serious? Oh. Let's pay attention to her eyes real quick. Dark and dyed capillaries. That's a immediately noticeable illness. Kiri Basigan never gets ill. I need to become Basigan. Qatar everywhere. Barefoot on soil, on rocks, on wood. Then all of Mushahan will come out. It won't eat my Rahman. It won't eat my ukerel. Let's suppose so. Still, try expressing yourself in a clearer manner. Ask simpler, Erdem. You say big words, but they ring hollow. Ding-dong, like a bell. Empty inside. Just your tongue striking the walls. Damn. Just got lashed. How can one tell superstitions apart from delirium? Pray tell me, do you use twirine? Do you drink it? Should not drink too much twirine. A man burns after it. Clouds, thoughts. Kitaterm eke bu'u. Sometimes you can, sometimes not. Your capillaries. You're right, these terms aren't helping. Have you noticed that the part of your eye that it's usually white is darkening? After the boss was slaughtered, I'd been waiting for days in fear, and so it came. Shuhan started darkening from the top. Now Mushuan is in my head and it's moving down. So far I can't tell what's happening to you or how to alleviate your condition. Namdayu shi karegui. Just let me do Qatar, and I'll be healthy. I will, after your physical exam. Is it the hospital lining, or is her skin tone actually uneven? In some places more yellow, and others paler. Marks on her stomach, cuts, scratches. Uneven skin tone? Kind of. Like reddish here, lightish here. It's hard to tell it versus the lighting, yeah. Those are definitely a bunch of scratches. Definitely some scarring. Ichthyosis? Or is it yellowing? Completely black, just like the vessels in her eyes, and sense truly evil blood. Okay, vein damage. That should be important. It's all over limbs, too. I'm talking to you, but I must do Qatar. I must dance. I should not rest. Answer my questions, and then dance to your heart's content. Your questions are like dull arrows, Aradem. They sing loud when they fly, but they ricochet all the same. Damn. Your veins in your arms have turned black. This is severe. Bi Keleke, Mushushan is coming down from my head. Soon I'll reach my feet. I told you so. Why don't you listen? You think I otoko kekele? Here, look. It's flowing inside my hands. Your skin seems to have yellow spots. Or is it the lighting? Have you never seen a contagion? Teneg. How can you be an Erdem if you don't know simple things? I was born this way, like many of us in the steppe. Naran burns, wind bites. Pigmentation was supposedly them being born that way? The other things add up to something? Ink syndrome and twirine syndrome. She insists she was born that way with the yellowing skin? Ink syndrome definitely looks like that. Infection often found in sewage and stagnant water bodies can also be present in fish tissues. The virus alters the blood's chemical composition, resulting in darkening blood vessels in the eyes and throughout the body's circulatory system. Hallucinations and breathing difficulties in patients may indicate brain damage and therefore almost inevitable fatal outcome. Risk groups: people interacting with specific steppe water bodies in Gorkon, washerwomen, shepherds, steppe dwellers. And she was definitely out there, and she specifically doesn't interact with Twyrene. From Twire or abusing Twire alcohol. Muscle weakness, sweating, depressing mental state, migraines, dizziness, gastrointestinal systems. Yeah, she doesn't seem to be having that kind of problem. She's just freaking out about having the darker signs. I think she just has ink syndrome. I think I can lock this one in and have a decent chance of being right at the end of the day. Keep dancing. I'll step away for a moment. Is her face flush, actually? Shit. Is being flush even a condition? I already locked it in, so we'll have to just see. Redness around the nose, maybe? I already gave it a go. Let's see. I have no reagents. Might be somewhere around here. There's a lot of stuff in that loot this time. Oh my goodness. Well, it's one reagent for now. I don't remember what reagents are made of necessarily. I'd have to check separately. This is rough because she gave me like nothing. Just hallucinations and weakness, which have 3 competing options. The part where she talks about seemingly teleporting could definitely be memory lapses. Is the first glance I have. It's like, okay, maybe it's memory lapses because she doesn't remember how she got places, but then she's like in a completely different state of being where she's old and stuff like that. Did I miss anything during the conversation? Acts as if everyone owes her something. Fears she's gone mad. Yet looks tired and turns away from the light. Oh. Photophobia. Twyrene syndrome. That actually narrows it really quickly down to Twyrene syndrome. I think I'm going to lock that in and see how it goes. Okay, so Q is bringing some observations up too. Such a bewildered look. A grown man, he acts like a child forgotten at the station. Confusion? Headache, bulimia, hallucinations, loss of coordination, memory lapses. That's not you. Yeah, currently have no good symptoms. Everything I've tested goes in multiple directions, which is unhelpful. I currently have 4 symptoms marked, and only 2 of them at a time go anywhere. Let's focus on one of the ones that says diarrhea. Difficulty. Did he say he has difficulty breathing? Yeah, he says if he moves 2 steps, he immediately feels like shit. Eczema's not confirmed, I just noticed it, but I didn't get to... He doesn't let me ask him about it for some reason. Like, why can't I ask him about the... He has peeling arms and I can't ask him a question about it? Like, did I not fucking mark the right one or something? Chitosis. I'm gonna mark a bunch of the related ones. Is this how it works? That's too many symptoms. It shouldn't be like that. I must have made a mistake. Woe is not a diagnosis. Okay, so you can't just do that. Itchy skin, stone disease. Try stone disease. No. I don't get it. Or did I pass my... Or did I lose my opportunity already or something? Or just fucking ask the question that I observed. I observed that he has peeling skin on his arms. Why didn't I get to ask him about that? I think there is like a weirdly specific system where you're supposed to observe it on his body, then mark it in here, then talk to him, and then that leads to you being able to talk about the thing. But like I must have marked the wrong one and maybe it's too late now or something. It's very strange. But yeah, the conversations call out diarrhea is marked here, and the conversation called out the difficulty breathing. So let's go for diarrhea and difficulty breathing. Which is these two. Oops. I want to try to find what's different about them. Brain, lung, mouth, guts. Ooh. Alright, so let's go for eye to separate them. Let's take a sample of his eye. What's that? There it is. Is this how it always looked, or is this a good one? Organ is healthy, no pathogens were detected. There we go, we finally have confirmation of it. So you do in fact still have to find a specific cell, but it'll be like, oh, it's good actually. Okay. So between these two options, I lost them. Diarrhea and difficulty breathing. The eye is healthy, so it's pulmomucus syndrome. Oops. Ah! Eye is healthy. An infectious disease caused by consuming water from contaminated steppe sources. The initial blow of the illness affects the human's nervous system. The next stage, it manifests through gastric disorders and ulcerative lesions on the lips. Subsequently, the patient loses appetite and experiences obsessive hallucinations. In advanced cases, breathing difficulties and deafness are observed. At this stage, a fatal outcome is almost inevitable. Risk groups. People interacting with the waters of the Gorkon, blah 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 blah, the usuals. Alright, I've locked in 3 diagnoses, and I think I'm just gonna have to hope for the best here. Because I'm not getting a ton from these guys. Got a little bit more time before I'm gonna be locked in on that stuff. In the meantime... In the meantime, I should head outside, talk to my chemical mixing boy. There he is. And double check what it takes to make... Let's see, calomel. I actually have those, morphine and water and strychnine. What's a reagent though? No water in that one. Alright. Why not? It cleans up my inventory a little bit. So reagents are made of belladonna and novocaine. So if I want to make more of those for the future days, I have to accumulate some novocaine. Wow, CAF4 is borderline useless. I can definitely check in with some of the children. Oh, hello. Not helping my inventory limitations. I'll be okay. It's fine. We'll check in with some of the children to see if they have novocaine or other stuff I want to trade for that's just cleans up my inventory so that I can rest. And if that doesn't work out, then I will simply go back to my HQ, talk to those two characters, and see what they trade for. Try to make some reagents for tomorrow to make up for any stuff I couldn't fix or couldn't identify. And then we'll loop. I came into this backyard too soon, didn't I? Oh, there's an exit though.
It was quiet in Thanatica.
I might have nailed it. Like, if I nailed it, then we don't actually need to play tomorrow, potentially. I might be done with today already, which is a little bit of a surprise. We have calomel. Not so much the chemicals that I need, though. Womp womp. Not exactly ideal. It's a little surprising that I've never died. I got shot in that one vision, I guess, which might count. Although it's not like the Bachelor was making that up, so it wasn't even implied to be an outcome that I changed, but just a thing that never happened. I definitely died a lot more than this by day 7 in Pathologic 1 and 2. In every campaign, probably. Probably even in the ones that when I was already experienced with Pathologic 1. Yes, they're not very helpful. Heavy dose of morphine is very valuable. Yeah, so this trip barely even paid for the health loss I'm taking while I run around. It's not my favorite choice. Seems I really can only get these drugs back home.
Boiling, cracking, screeching, living.
It's weird imagining Dankovsky going mad with manic power and sprinting across the entire town like the Flash. You don't understand. I'm so hyped up right now. I was on a cocktail of all sorts of things in the first game, but that never made me run faster. Okay, lots of Novocaine. And traced in one heavy dose of morphine for all of it. Belladonna, I'm gonna need 4. There we go. I'm discovering this episode that there's a little use recipe button, which certainly speeds up the process of doing a specific recipe. Five reagents definitely puts me in a better situation for being like, fuck y'all, let's do this. In fact, that's... Okay, so I have enough... Let's see, does it fit in my slots? Oh god, there's all these slots still too. Yay. I shouldn't have used that. Using it even redundantly is a bad idea, I guess. I trade for anything that I already have stacks of. Like morphine. Trade the Meridorm for it. Oops, too many. That's going away is decondensing my stacks. That's pretty good. Just have to get rid of one of my sets of matches that I'll probably never use that many of anyway. Alright, 12 items. Oops. He's just hanging out. Let's find out about the diagnoses. And whether or not I'm going to be looping again. Hi.
I must. Okay. That goes there. And, I wonder what about this?
Uh-huh. Good day, Dr. Dankovsky. What are you doing here, Little? Something urgent at the hospital? No, everything's running as usual, aside from the difficulties you're already aware of. I'm filling in for our regular courier today. Brought the patient report. Orderly number 33 stepped out for a funeral. The executions, you know. Our orderlies were also affected by Karminsky's activities. Evidently, I think this Karminsky calculated deliberately so that even if someone wasn't directly affected by it, they'd still be cowed. I'll be frank with you. The orderlies weren't rushing to replace 33. Your emergency command is now right next to the Inquisitor's headquarters. They're afraid to show their faces here. But you're not afraid, I take it. I figure it this way. The Inquisitor will execute whoever he wants, whether you walk past him or not. It's either on the cards or it isn't. And the cards that I'm preoccupied with are our patient's medical charts. What? Should we stop working because we're afraid? Under no circumstances should we stop. Meow, 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 meow. No? Oh? Ow. So 2 of them are right. Tuutei. The stepwoman Tuutei dances day and night. I think she's even gotten better at it. She takes the medications you prescribed, admits that she hears the so-called evil blood less often now, but believes it wasn't you who helped her. But the dance. I don't argue, though I feel offended on your behalf. Yakov Little. It's interesting that we address their sicknesses. It's a little weird because they're supposedly gonna die. Like today, regardless. Like, there's a follow-up message from each one, and it's like, it's fun to have some level of follow-up, and we're trying to figure out would you diagnose these things or not, but supposedly they all are infected with sandpest, 100% of them, and that's why they're there. Even though sandpest doesn't seem to have any symptoms that affect my diagnosis, like, it doesn't manifest in any way that affects, so I'm only diagnosing their other thing and not sandpest. It's a little confusing and weird how this whole thing's set up. But sandpest is supposed to kill them in like 6 hours, right? So this other disease is slowing the effect of sandpest for whatever reason. But it definitely feels implied that if I cure them of the other disease, the sandpest then kills them, right? Like, so it's kind of bad to fix the other disease. It's, if anything, it's helping them, even if they're upsetting. We're just diagnosing them because we're trying to figure out how the vaccine would work, but helping them based on it seems counterproductive to their survival or their health. How does this happen, Doctor? At least explain it to me. Why did I, a fool, prolong my life with bad water from the Gorkon, while Setsig brought clean water home for us, did everything right, and died of plague before me? No. I can't understand why everything in the world is arranged this way. Martin. Your assistant didn't hide from me that I'm dying after all. The treatment had no effect. It got worse. Now I have nothing to breathe with. Or perhaps my breath was stolen by the thought. This is the end. Truly the end. My portrait will never be printed in a textbook. I've achieved nothing. I hope, Mr. Dankovsky, you'll have better luck. Emilia Platonova. Surely deceased by the time you read this. Okay, so she has breathing problems. Can't look at her now, but I can add that in the morning, I guess. Still 12 items, yep. Alright, so we're gonna have to try again tomorrow. So we need to reset Emilia. I think everything else about the day we're leaving. It's a pretty fast day, especially if you ignore all the stuff about the flashbacks. I mean, they happen, they're part of it, but I mean, like, we don't consider that part of the day because I was off doing a flashback to set up the day. And that especially means that this is a very short day. But who knows, the stuff about Stamatin might take a long time once we get the chance to resolve it. Doesn't hurt to reload the prototype since it's relatively low. But I think we're done with that too. I don't have much reason to go to the one plague district that's in the middle of nowhere. Alright, I made reagents, so I'm more equipped to test the shit out of this lady. Figure out why I can't diagnose her. So what did I miss? Turns away from light. Photophobia. Difficulty breathing. Yeah, I figured Twirine syndrome, but maybe not so much. Paranoia, maybe? I'm the doctor, Daniil Dankovsky, at your service. She says she's going insane due to her intellectual labor. Waking dreams. And she just suddenly imagines being on death's door while being old. Perhaps you're winding yourself up. Question of whether or not she's too thin. Dystrophy. This list of symptoms is so shit. So many of them are nebulous at best. Hands itching, inflamed. Yeah, she's scratching her wrists. Could be itchy skin. Have you been experiencing unusual fatigue lately? You look exhausted. I'm drained by the nightmare, Dr. Dankovsky. That ghastly hallucination renders my entire existence meaningless. What if it comes true, and I never really achieve anything? She thinks she doesn't actually have the sand pest. Or thinks that I'm magically gonna solve her. You have scratch marks on your hands. Of course I do. I'm constantly working with plants. Cutting sprouts, repotting them. Sap is bound to get on my hands. Skin gets irritated. Surely you work with toxic substances. You know how it is. Are your eyes irritated? You blink excessively. I have a feeling you recoil from the light. Oh, that started on my expedition. I have just returned from the south. I ventured there for samples. The flora is fascinating there. Unlike this barren steppe. But the sun is merciless. I believe that the sun is what caused damage to my eyes. A professional hazard. I think the sun isn't any worse there. It's that it felt worse because of her photophobia that was developing. Tell me, have you lost weight recently? You're dangerously slender. I wouldn't say sickly gaunt, but... Please, if I were concerned about how, with looking unappealing without my clothes, I wouldn't devolve my life to scientific exploration. Do you have an inkling of how stark the conditions of a field trip can be? Especially when venturing into the wild for the particularly rare specimens? It's no wonder I lost weight. Your case is more complex than I anticipated. The clinical picture remains incoherent. Perhaps there's no clinical picture to speak of. My only complaint is that awful hallucination. Oh yes, I was diagnosed with the plague and some other awful ailment inhibits its spread. But can't this ailment be of a mental nature? Hallucinations can be caused by an infection, but I'm not certain about the other symptoms. So your search is at an impasse. I will have to examine the place you live. Consider this a scientific field trip. Oh, you have to like unlock the side quest via like a very specific sequence of actions. Huh. Okay. Interesting. I kind of want to wrap this up, so let's go take a look, even though I'm kind of over time. It's the end of the session. These are actually pretty involved usually. I don't think I actually have time right now. Damn it. I'll just have to send me there. The next episode will start with me investigating this house and finding out what the deal is. Okay, so there's a complexity here that takes some figuring out, where like you have to specifically diagnose specific things in a very specific I've said specific so many times just now. But there's like a really particular sequence of like how you observe things and then put them down in your journal, and then specifically need some unstated conditions to be triggered so that you can then have like certain ones that you've marked can lead to additional dialogue, and then certain combinations of marked stuff and leads to and additional dialogue can then lead to you being able to trigger these kinds of events. I wonder how many expeditions to people's homes I've missed because I didn't cause the specific outcome. That might have been why I struggled, like, I think it was yesterday or the day before with the diagnoses. There's just a very particularness to it. It's a little finicky, just trying to, like, anticipate what the game is trying to get you to do. There's a hint at it here because this thing says, first record the discovered symptoms in the casebook, then question the patient about them in detail. It can be a little bit of a trap to reflexively be like, aha, that seems like kind of something, but I should ask the patient about them to try to clarify them. Like, you actually can't. If you don't record it, you don't get dialogue about it. But you also have to like try to interpret which stuff's worth recording on the fly. And you probably want to over-record so you can then try to remove things as you go. Which is kind of what we covered in the tutorial to some extent, but there's just like little bits where I've just kind of fucked up along the way.